This is a review of the Grace Digital GDI-BTSP207 powered bookshelf speakers. They also feature Bluetooth compatibility. Here you can see that you have the speakers themselves, an instruction manual, a set of speaker cable to connect the two together, an AC wall adapter, and an auxiliary input connector that you can plug into your stereo headphone outlet and plug into the back of the speaker. That's for use with devices that don't have Bluetooth. The AC adapter cable is 75 inches long. This device is also UL approved and operates on 100 to 240 volts AC and 47 to 63 Hertz. So it is compatible for overseas operation as long as you have a plug adapter for it. This here is the auxiliary stereo cable. It is 6 feet long or 72 inches. And this is the high-grade speaker cable. It's 118 inches long or almost 10 feet. It actually comes pre-stripped, and you have to pull off the stripped end of the wire to plug it into the back of the speaker. Looking at the back of the right speaker, which is the primary control speaker, you'll see the input jacks for the stereo input for auxiliary. And here you can see you have the left and the right. So it truly is a stereo sound system. The other end here will plug into your device that outputs the stereo, like your smartphone or whatever, that doesn't have Bluetooth. Here you can see the bass reflex tunnel. Here you can see the speaker connections for the speaker wire. This is used to carry the sound and power to the left speaker. You'll notice that the wires, one's copper and one's silver and one's red and one's not. Speakers do have polarity. You want them to work so that when sound hits the speakers, the same sound, they both go out at the same time and in at the same time on the speakers, and not that they go out and one goes in, because then they're out of phase with each other. So make sure that you wire this properly. I always use the copper color as the positive. Here you find a power switch to turn the speaker system on. Here you find the input jack for the power supply, which I have here, and this plugs in the power of the speaker. In addition to that, you'll have here a USB charging port that gets power from this charging cable, and it will output 5 volts DC at 1 amp. So you can plug your phone in here while you're playing the Bluetooth and charge your phone while you're listening to your music. Here I wanted to show that I have the speaker wired up on one side. In addition, I want to make a note that the power port here, it's listed here, the power input is 18 volts DC at 2 amps. So that's why it has a separate power supply. I wanted to point out here that this speaker wire is heavy gauge. That's to provide a low resistance connection between the two speakers so you get the best sound. Also, they come pre-stripped. You can see this here. And when you get it, you just pull off the stripping, separate the wires a little bit, and wire them up. I just want to comment that I just pulled off this pre-stripped portion, but I wanted to note that you can see here the wire is slightly discolored. That's because a very super thin piece of plastic was still covering the wires. Make sure you pull that off so that the wire is in contact with these terminals. If you don't do that, you're not going to get good sound. In fact, you may not get any sound at all. Just to make the point, you can see I pulled off the insulation. This wire is still insulated. I've taken a pocket knife and very carefully sliced the wire without slicing the copper wires. And pulling this off, you can see the difference, how this wire here was still insulated and would not make connection. Here you can see I've taken these wires and pulled off the insulation that I showed before. And I've twisted the wires as tightly as I could, and then I've tinned them with a soldering gun. I recommend this if you have a friend that can help you do that, because if not, you'll have these little pieces of wire like this one over here, and if they don't all get through the hole and they short out between these two connectors, your speaker won't work. On the top of the right-hand speaker, you'll find the controls for the set of speakers. What you see here is the master control volume, which goes both directions. You just simply press on it. This is turned on. As you rotate it, the blue LED will flash as long as the volume is going up. When it stops flashing, it means you've reached the max. If you go the other direction, it flashes until you reach the lower end and it stops flashing. Here you see the forward skip and the reverse skip buttons. Here you see the play pause buttons. This is the Bluetooth pairing light. It's flashing red and blue, so it's looking to be paired. This is the source button, and here you see it says Bluetooth. If I press this, it will say line in, which means you're using the auxiliary input jack, and this is where the sound should be coming from. I'm now going to show how to pair this to your smart device. I'm going to go to settings on an iPhone. I'm going to touch Bluetooth. It says it's on, so it's ready to be paired. I'm going to push the on button. You can see the light pairing. It already says Grace Digital. That was pretty fast. I hit pair, or just touch it. You can see the dial spinning, and it's already connected. That's as simple as that. I want to make a comment that somebody mentioned a remote control for these speakers. This is the remote control for the speakers. These speakers are designed to be hooked up, plugged in, turned on. You don't turn them off and on when you're done with them. You leave them on. And my suggestion would be to turn the volume on the speakers up all the way. The reason for that is, this is now your volume control right here. This is your play pause button. This is forward skip, and this is a skip backwards. So you can do everything right here on your smart device without ever touching the speakers once they're wired up. You can also repair this, delete this, walk over and turn the Bluetooth off on this, unpair it at the speaker, and then pair it with your iPad and do the same thing. I'm now going to play just a few seconds of a song to give you an idea of what it sounds like. I don't have the volume turned all the way up because these are quite powerful speakers. So I just want to tell you that they are extremely loud. I'm now going to play the Star Spangled Banner, which is a downloaded song that's not copyrighted. And you'll be able to hear the speakers at full volume. These speakers are compatible with Bluetooth version 4.0 and downward. They contain amplifiers that have 36 watts of output power. Each speaker features a 1-inch tweeter and a 3.5-inch woofer drive unit. Combined, they output 2 times 18 watts in RMS mode. As you can see, they're covered in red simulated leather. They happen to be able to be ordered in black, white, and red. This set of speakers is great for hooking up to TVs, computers, laptops, tablets, smartphones, MP3 players, and gaming systems. It's great for your office, for work, for your dorm room, living room, or bedroom. They're small and compact, but with a great sound and volume output. They have a solid booming bass with a clear treble, and the high notes are just perfect. They're also perfect for any style of music. If you listen to music with Bluetooth, and you get a call and the speakers are playing music, the music will pause, the speakers will mute. You can take your call, you can finish your call, and when you hang up, the speakers will start playing again exactly at the spot where your song was when you started to take the call. This is an excellent product with great sound output. It's great for somebody who wants to hook up a quick system and be able to play their music with their Bluetooth device. I rate this at 5 stars. This review was done by JJ CEO. I'd like you to know that I received a sample for test and evaluation, and I promise to give a fair and honest review.